We're going to be spending some time living with the Nissan Murano, which definitely has a very distinctive face. The more premium crossover in the lineup. Quick peek at the interior. Ooh, that's a very, very nice color combination. Nice two-tone quilted pattern on the seats here. I like that blue spec a lot. Welcome animation and music. Something nifty about having the push-button transmission selector is we have this storage space below the center console, which is actually pretty spacious. You have the wireless phone charging pad right there, another extra storage space here, your double cup holders. So the center console area is definitely pretty nice, along with even more storage in here. Look at that sunset, and look at that ice cream.
My F45 workout meant nothing this morning.
Costco practicality test in the Murano. Ooh, look at that cloud, honey. All right, press that. The trunk opens up. Got some stuff in here. We're heading to the new house, and new house things are being acquired. So the Murano is just simply a two-row. Ah, perfect.
Very strong. Have you been going to the gym?
No.
Well, I mean, moving is the workout for
true.
this week, so no
Costco
gym required.
practicality test.
Very
This
practical.
is cool. Like, this lights up.
Oh yeah, it does.
Nice. Well, this is the fancy version of the Murano, though. So.
How much is this?
60? I gotta look at the window sticker.
Oh, that's not bad.
Pricey. Murano Plus. That's not bad. It's a Nissan, not an Infiniti.
Comparatively to some of your other press cars.
That's because you've become spoiled. Yeah, last week we had a $250,000 Lotus.
Yes.
Another busy day of packing and moving. Today is the bigger furniture stuff, so we're gonna take the Murano from the new house down to the townhouse, which we were renting. We've been running back and forth like dozens of times.
Probably 5 times.
I've lost track of what cars are where too. Because I brought the Macan here, the Murano's here, the
Corvette's
Chevy's
back.
there, the Corvette's there. So actually, yeah, that's not actually that difficult. But anyways, the Murano actually, it feels so plush and like comfortable compared to the Chevy Bright Drop because...
Oh, so true.
this
Stark contrast.
very big contrast. Well, I mean, this is one of the nicer Nissans before getting to Infiniti. They make this definitely much more premium, stylish, some nice materials. But I have some thoughts on the powertrain because I don't love the powertrain. The interior, I think they did a pretty good job. This gradient fade Murano glass inspired thing is pretty cool. It starts with a bluish gray and fades to like a light gold yellow, also on the doors. I believe that's only available on the top tier platinum trim like the one we are in. This looks to kind of be like wood, but it feels a little plasticky, but you do have the controls kind of showing through. You get a little bit of haptic vibration feedback when you touch them, inspired by the Aria and then the Murano lettering here. You also have a forward and back track control right here. You can go forward and back listening to music, an actual physical volume knob, which is nice. In addition to on the steering wheel, we have the volume controls and you go forward back track, which is definitely nice because there's some new cars now where everything is all through the touchscreen there. Now, some of our controls through the touchscreen include like our heated cooled seats. So that's through here. My cooled seats are on. Climate stuff, you have even more control. This is just kind of basic stuff here. Engine start stop. We do have paddle shifters and the double digital clusters. With that, let's set up Apple CarPlay, hit the road. We've got lots of errands to run, but first, food?
Food. So excited.
Food?
Vietnamese food. Yes.
Let me take you on a tour of the Murano, and then we'll go for a drive and wrap up some final thoughts on what it has been like to live with this week. In terms of the styling, they absolutely prioritized making it look distinctive. This is a more premium, unique look. It's actually wider than before, and it absolutely does stand out. So the front fascia, very unique look. This almost kind of reminds me of a mustache and kind of also has certain elements of a fish to it, but it's like a evolved version of the Nissan V-Motion grille. You have these lines of lighting, the DRLs, that flow into the grille itself, and then you have the headlights split above. Very thin headlight strip with the little cube LEDs inside, and then this gloss black strip in between the headlights, and you have the Murano lettering stamped in there. And you know what that reminds me of? When I first saw the new Murano, I was like, Wait, why do the headlights kind of look like the ones on the Ferrari 12 Cilindri? Which is, I know, a ridiculous comparison, but it also has that gloss black piece of trim between the headlights. So yeah, that's something from a design standpoint that stood out to me, but it definitely has very distinctive looking face, very swoopy and smooth looking, and it definitely stands out among the crowd of more boring styled SUVs, I'll give it that. Now this one is a top tier platinum trim. We have the nice pearl white paint, the upgraded wheels, and the black two-tone roof gives it kind of a nice sleek sporty look to it, along with this trim along here around the window. Kind of also looks like a fish because it kind of crisscrosses back here. Around back we have the full width LED light bar. They also relocated the windshield wiper underneath here for a little cleaner look back here, and also moved the license plate lower on the bumper, supposed to make it look a bit more premium. We have the big Murano lettering there, platinum, all-wheel drive, and it has a power open tailgate, so you can press that, opens up. Now, we've been using this thing as an SUV crossover, folding the seats down, moving stuff all week. Underneath here, we do not have a spare tire. Instead, Bose, that must be the subwoofer, so fix a flat if you do happen to have something happen to your tire, so no full-size spare underneath there. This is illuminated at night, which is pretty cool too. Now this is a 2-row only, as you can see, but from a styling standpoint, I think they did a good job making it stand out. You've got these nice kind of curves here with a widened fender, so they redesigned it to make it very, very stylish, and that's something that I think buyers of a vehicle like this may be prioritizing. They want to have it look a bit more unique, and I gotta say, they accomplished that. Now on the inside, this one is the platinum trim, so we have the nicer interior. One of my favorite things is this paint fade gradient trim. Now it's smooth, it's got like all those little lines in it, and the actual color fade gradient that goes across the entire dash. It is inspired by Murano glass. It's really, really cool and unique. And then we have the cool blue and black two-tone leather interior with the cross pattern right there. And these seats are heated, ventilated, and massage, which is kind of the trifecta of luxury features on your seats. And they're also Nissan Zero Gravity seats, so they're actually pretty comfortable. I showed you guys that little storage cubby underneath the center console. Talk a bit more about that when we're driving. We have the 2-spoke steering wheel with the double display screens there. So a really nice, unique interior. Now 2-row only, decent amount of space in the second row too. The outboard seats are heated. Got USB charging ports there. I've got a torque wrench there, I guess, from moving, but you still have the blue and the black two-tone with the quilting pattern too. Big sunroof up there. You have privacy shades. There's ambient lighting at night. So it's a nice cabin. Definitely a very nice premium cabin. Although I just noticed this is just textured black plastic. So it's got the same angled lines, but no paint fade gradient. So it's only restricted to the front, not the back. You don't get the cool Murano gradient in the back. So there's a quick tour of the Murano Platinum. Let's hop in and go for a drive. All right, let's do a bit of driving and wrap up final thoughts on what it's been like to live with the Murano this week. So some specs, the powertrain. We now have a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's a variable compression turbo VCT paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, makes 241 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. So we've said goodbye to the V6 CVT combo, although we've gone from CVT to VCT, just playing around with those acronyms, just shuffling the letters around. But 9-speed automatic, it's front-wheel drive as base, but as a Platinum it comes with all-wheel drive, but it's definitely a very heavily front bias system. There's been a couple times where I've turned onto a main road and floored it, and you can hear and feel it scrabbling from traction up front. We actually do have drive modes though. I can toggle this D mode toggle down from Eco, Standard, Sport. We've got paddle shifters. So, I mean, it's nice it's not a CVT anymore, but it's not the quickest shifting automatic transmission. I've noticed a couple times a little bit of lag, and the powertrain is definitely just adequate for this segment. What I think they really prioritize is smoothness and quietness, and road noise, wind noise, definitely very, very well controlled. We took a trip down to Detroit for date night earlier in the week, and it was very smooth, quiet, comfortable, but we're talking dynamics, definitely not one of the priorities of this vehicle in my opinion, even in that sport mode. I'm gonna go back into just standard and exit manual back to drive mode. Now, I think one of the highlights for me is the interior design layout. It feels very wide and open. They said they wanted to cultivate like a spa-like experience. And I mean, I've got my massage seats, which are definitely nice. They're rather simple, 3 different settings, but it's nice to have massage seats. They're currently on their cooled setting. The Bose sound system is pretty good. Materials feel nice. I do really like that paint fade gradient. And it's a well-designed interior and definitely feels very wide, open, and spacious. And well, it's not a full-out luxury experience in here, but it checks a lot of the boxes. The double 12-inch display screens there, the stitching and everything. It's a nice place to be. But if we talk about the value, that is a little bit challenging because this one here as a platinum top tier is optioned to over $54,000, almost $55,000. And yes, that is a good amount of money for something still wearing the Nissan badge and not in an Infiniti. There will be an Infiniti platform sibling. They always do that. I don't know which, QX something, letters and numbers, right? That'll be Infiniti platform sibling. But how does this stack up compared to other more premium 2-row SUVs in a space? They all have very distinctive personalities. The Hyundai Santa Fe now goes very almost like ruggedy look, right? It looks kind of like a Korean version of a Land Rover Defender. Chevy Blazer is like super sportier, right? There's some nice versions of that too. What else? Toyota has the Highlander, I think would be this competitor. You could look at there's Mazda. There's a lot of options in this segment. So why would you want to go for the Nissan Murano? Well, styling, I think, is going to be something that stands out. It definitely looks really, really unique. In the parking lot coming up to him, like, okay, there it is. The metallic pearl white paint is nice, but the front fascia just looks quite distinct. And just moving it around this week, watching it leave the driveway and so forth, I thought it looked definitely rather distinctive. We've got definitely checking a lot of boxes in terms of tech luxury features here in this platinum trim. It's quiet, but don't expect like a sporty dynamic experience or anything like that at all. I don't know if Nissan's gonna like me saying this, but I feel like this would have worked better as an EV platform. Buyers probably aren't going for that because they had the Aria, and there's like certain elements. Actually, wait, now that I mention that reminds me. So the plan was to replace the Murano, with the Aria, and I think something happened where customers weren't quite ready to go full electric with the Aria, which is what it is. So then the Murano stayed on life support for so long until they finally gave it the redesign. And I think that's the order of events of what happened. Because when the Aria came out, I'm like, oh, it's a swoopy, stylish, kind of premium-ish crossover in this space. This must be the replacement, but they kept them going concurrently. The last thing I can think of for them to win the hearts and minds of all buyers, consumers, and enthusiasts is to bring us another Murano Cross Cabriolet, a legendary vehicle. I legitimately get excited every single time I see a Murano Cross Cabriolet. They were rare, quirky, weird, bizarre, but so cool. And I've seen some pretty wild Murano Cross Cabriolets. So here's to hoping Nissan does another version. Most likely not, but you never know. Hope you guys enjoyed this week living with the Murano Platinum. Definitely premium, nice, cool, distinctive things, moving them in the right direction. Price point is expensive, but again, we're in the top tier one. There are more affordable ones, which would give you still the cool styling, maybe not as many of the bells and whistles, but still a lot of the core important elements are going to be there. Oh, one last final thing, driver assistance tech, right? Little blue icon there, ProPilot 1.1, which is still hands-on, so no hands-free driving on the freeway. I believe other options in this segment may be a little bit more competitive, like GM has Super Cruise, so there's some options from General Motors that you could equip with Super Cruise and you would be full hands-free, which this does not have. I feel like the Nissan Rogue actually has more advanced ProPilot than this for some reason, which is a weird decision, but maybe there's a technology limitation. But there we go. The Nissan Murano Platinum. Please bring back the Cross Cabriolet. Thanks for watching. Bye.